Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about something that commonly asked, why my blood sugars are going high in the morning. Well, I talk about this in other videos, but I guess you're not watching all my videos, so I would recommend going through my videos because I have a lot of videos and I pretty much touched on everything. But today I'm going to talk about again, why is my blood sugar high in the morning? They will say, hey doc, I'm not going to the bed and my blood sugars are great. It's like I'm 120 and I wake up with 150. Oh, well, what a downer. Well, it is. And then they say, well, I wake up at 150, I'm already upset. And then now I'm fasting and my blood sugar keeps going higher and higher. What is going on here? Well, I'll tell you right now. Let's get started. Hello everyone, if you are looking for exclusive deals, blogs, educational content every week delivered to your email, subscribe to our newsletter at sugarmds.com right now. So guys, or ladies and gentlemen, your blood sugar will go up at night because your liver is a machine. It is a glucose producing machine. Your liver is there to provide you glucose when you're fasting. It's a storage unit, okay? It's full of glycogen that gets converted into glucose when you are fasting, which is when you're sleeping, right? And it is regulated with a hormone called insulin, right? So normally, your liver and your insulin talk to each other to make sure that your blood sugars range around 70 to 90 when you are sleeping. Now, when you have diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, it happens with type 1 diabetes too, but insulin resistance is a primary problem with that. With type 2 and type 1s, if they don't have enough insulin in their body, if they're not taking enough, that same thing can happen to them as well. But what's happening here is that your liver is like deaf or blind to the insulin's action. It's called insulin resistance for type 2 diabetics. And if you don't have enough insulin for type 1, same thing happens. Now, what do we do? Well, you have to make your body insulin sensitive, or you have to give more insulin. I always give my patients, well, what can we do? Can you exercise? Can you maybe go for fasting a little bit more? Now, sometimes people will say, oh, when I fast, my blood sugar goes up. Well, your blood sugar will go up when you fast for a short while until the glycogen stores in your liver is depleted. And that's around 8 to 12 hours. Okay, so after that, your body will try to burn something else, and that will be the fat stores. So if you can push yourself for fasting for 18 to 24 hours or more, you will see that your blood sugars are eventually going down. So your body is not going to convert protein to keep the blood sugar at that level. At some point, you're going to break that insulin resistance. So that's why I recommend fasting, exercising, and it's not going to happen overnight. Although it can happen, some people will exercise and their blood sugars will immediately go down if their fitness level is good, if their muscle mass is good. But if you are like more on the older side and your muscle mass is not good, you may need to do more exercise or increase your exercise or wait a few days or a few weeks before you see results. So everybody's a little different. Their insulin resistance levels are a little different. So as long as you believe that fasting and exercise will help you with insulin resistance and you stick to it, you will see results. It may not happen the same day, it may not happen the same week, but you will see results. And you have to be consistent about that. You cannot just say, I'm gonna, fast today, I'm gonna binge eating tomorrow. No, you have to keep these fat stores actively getting burned and ketosis developing and staying. Now, of course, some people will say, no, well, doctor, I like everything you're saying, but I cannot exercise, or I just don't want to. Well, guess what? I don't have a stick. I'm not going to beat them up. I'm like, okay, well, want to get your blood sugars down in the morning? Yeah, well, then we have to do something about it. Then we have to use medications. It could be insulin, non-insulin, it could be GLP-1, it could be SGLT2, but then you're looking for medications or supplements, right? So that's why, some people say, well, I don't want medications either. Well, I usually say, look, I'm not Jesus, okay? But now I'm more open. I'm still not Jesus, of course, I will never be. I'm just kidding. Don't be offended. But now we have supplements, right? So I've looked into the supplement world in the last 5 years or so and kind of learned a lot about them and realized that supplements also help. They're herbs. If you don't want to take herbs, if you don't want to take medications, then you have to exercise or eat close to nothing. Well, especially that happens a lot. People will say, Doc, I only eat once a day. I'm not even hungry. My blood sugars are still running high. Well, then it's more than likely the exercise problem, right? So they're not very active. And that has to be a problem. When I say, hey, let's be active, they're going to say, well, I am really hurting. My muscles are hurting. My joints are hurting. There's always an excuse. Look, I have videos about how to exercise from home, how to exercise from sitting position. You can get things done. There is no excuse. And yeah, sometimes, some type 2 diabetics will have also insulin deficiency. Remember, when you have diabetes, you lose 50% of your beta cells. You can still live with that. You can still continue a life with normal blood sugars. It's like a retirement. You retire, you don't die, you learn to live with less money at that stage of your life. When you become diabetic, you have less insulin in your body. You just learn to live with it. Or you either, change your lifestyle, or you add some medications or supplements to boost your insulin production or reduce your insulin resistance, which, as you know, most of our supplements do kind of everything at the same time. Like SugarMD advanced glucose support primarily will reduce your insulin resistance, but also give you an insulin boost when you need it. Super berberine, on the other hand, is more like an insulin sensitizer, so you have to use it for at least a month or two before you see the results. Versus SugarMD advanced glucose support, you see the results like that, okay? But the bottom line is, you have to keep the insulin resistance down and do something. So you lose 50% of your beta cells. You need to learn to live with that. And at that point, if it is not working, no matter what you do, your sugars are still running high, that's okay. Then you need something. Then you have to take an herbal supplement or a medication, whatever you prefer, whatever you believe in, get the sugars down, because sugar is toxic. You cannot have excuses and keep the blood sugar high. You can't just say, oh, well, I can afford good food and I can afford medicine and I don't want to exercise. Then let my blood sugar go run high. I hear that all the time. Well, that's not an excuse. I would rather eat nothing instead of eating junk food, right? Because fasting is good for you. It prevents diabetes, it prevents cancer, it makes you live longer. So why not, right? And you can save money. So instead of going to McDonald's and buy a $15 meal, save that money and fast. And if you have two $15 together, maybe you will have a healthy dinner. Why don't you think that way, right? So I think we have to change our thought process about this. Keep an open mind. Life is not black or white. Life is never like that. You as an individual, you always have to look at yourself, okay, what can I do for myself, instead of looking at what other people did and what other people didn't or couldn't. You have to always believe in yourself and say, okay, well, I can do this. How can I do this? What are my abilities? What is my body's abilities? So just because someone stopped eating carbs and their blood sugar is normal, you may not be the same way. So don't be discouraged, okay? Just because someone is using a medication and they are losing 100 pounds and you don't, that's okay. There are other ways to do things. So as long as you keep an open mind, you will get it and you will get it right. Now, back to the topic is, getting the blood sugars down. You either have to improve the insulin resistance and then you're using medications. Now, also in the morning is the worst time. That's another thing we have to talk about. The morning is the worst time for any diabetic because your blood sugars are going to rise because of cortisol, growth hormone, glucagon, everything kicks in at the same time for everybody. Even normal individuals will have a blood sugar, they will wake up with 80. In 2 hours, the blood sugar may go up to 100 without eating anything in normal non-diabetic individuals. When you have diabetes, you may wake up with 120, you may end up with 160 in 2 hours if you didn't eat. So I always tell my patients, eat a healthy fat and protein breakfast, and that will actually lower your blood sugar levels because it lowers the cortisol, it lowers the glucagon levels when you eat. So that's an important principle. A lot of people don't want to eat breakfast. What I always say, if you don't want to eat breakfast, well, that's fine, but then don't eat lunch either. So a lot of people eat a late big breakfast. That's a mistake. Don't do brunches. Brunches are horrible for you. You have to either have a small healthy breakfast and small healthy lunch rather than a big brunch. You never eat big meals. That's never good for you. So if you're going to fast, do it right. fast for a long time. Breakfast, skip the breakfast, skip the lunch, eat a very light dinner. That's how you do it. So a lot of people, again, like try to do things, but they do something little wrong and everything is blown off. And then they're discouraged, they're upset, they're frustrated. They think that what they're doing is not working. So you just have to do things exactly right. So guys, thank you for watching. I think today's topic is clear, that I'm going to summarize again. If you want to improve your blood sugars in the morning, you have to improve your insulin resistance. And if you cannot do that, you have to use either insulin itself or medications or herbs that will increase insulin production at night. And when you wake up, if you are going to eat breakfast that is less carby and more healthy protein and fat, you're more likely to control your blood sugars during the day. Unless you want to fast, well then you have to fast for up to 18 hours to get the benefit. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this channel so far, and I hope you subscribed already. If you didn't, do it. And if you did, watch this video right there. I think that will help you too.